Last summer, my brother looked into all options possible to take care of the Denny Markell problem, including hiring a hitman.
And when she referred to her brother, she's got two of those, right?
She said Charlie.
She said that someone approached her on the street, called her by name, handed her an envelope, something regarding her son, something regarding his ex-girlfriend.
So when will we see Charlie Adelson? The state's key witness has yet to be called. This is testimony rolls on this morning in his mama Donna's trial. We're taking you inside the courtroom as soon as things begin this hour. Plus, Cardi B gets heated in the Los Angeles courtroom. So what does the jury think of the rapper's explicit testimony? Also this hour, could baby Emmanuel Harrow's murder have been avoided? We're digging into his dad Jake's criminal past and the outrageous decision made by a judge that could have saved the 7-month-old baby. It's all coming up next for you right here on Opening Statements. Good Thursday morning to you and welcome to Opening Statements. I'm Julie Grant. We got a great show planned for you, and before we get it started, I just want to take a moment to extend our condolences to the victims of the Minnesota Catholic school shooting. You know, unfortunately, those parents can never get the justice that they deserve. And as you know, on this show, we fight for justice and we fight for victims. So we'll keep them in our hearts and in our prayers as they begin moving forward. Right now, we have to move forward with our show as we planned it for you. So let's get it started. It's time for my opening statement. The punishment should fit the crime. And it is a crying shame that it didn't the first time that Jake Harrow harmed one of his children. Perhaps if it had, baby Emmanuel may be alive today. Convicted felon Jake Harrow was facing prison time for abusing his 10-week-old baby girl. That precious little angel's injuries were so bad, they left her permanently disabled. The baby beater was looking at prison time, but the judge gave him probation. And this was over the objection of the district attorney's office. This animal gets to go back home and be around the baby that he harmed. How does that work out? The district attorney went so far as to say that if the judge had done his job and given Jake Harrow a fitting punishment for his crime, baby Emmanuel would be alive today. The district attorney also says that baby Emmanuel was likely a victim of a series of abusive incidents. At the tender age of only 7 months, he likely succumbed to those injuries. How heartbreaking is that? May precious baby Emmanuel rest in peace with the angels. He was a little angel. And may the person or persons who murdered him pay the dearest price the law allows. And hopefully this time the punishment will fit the crime. That's my opening statement. Let me know if you like it. Right now, it's time for your daily docket.
It had become evident that Mr. Walsh was suspecting his wife of having an affair. The oldest child's iPad begins to visit websites concerned how long does it take for a dead body to smell? How long does it take for someone to be missing to be declared dead?
In Massachusetts, we've got defendant Brian Walsh with a discovery hearing. This guy's accused of murdering and dismembering his wife, Anna. That starts up at 2 p.m. Eastern. In Idaho, we've got Madison Mogen's mother trying to stop the Moscow City from releasing documents relating to her daughter's murder. Now, the motions hearing is going to begin at 1 p.m. Eastern time. We're following that story for you. And in Florida, we've got the state's case continuing in the murder trial for Mama Donna Adelson. Court's going to get underway at 8:45 a.m. That's what we're told, and so we'll go there live as soon as it does. So let's talk about the matriarch, mastermind, allegedly. She is our top story this morning, and we're kind of checking off the key players on the witness list, and we're wondering, where in the world is Charlie? Special Agent Patrick Sanford will be resuming his testimony this morning. And there's one key state witness, though, that everybody's talking about. convicted killer Charlie Adelson. So when will he be taking the stand? Court TV's Julia Janae has more from Tallahassee.
Good morning, Julie. That's right. We are gearing up for day 5. And at this point, we don't know for sure if Donna Adelson is going to be taking the stand in this case the way her son did 2 years ago. It's certainly her right to decline. It wasn't promised to jurors in opening statements, and she never sat down for a police interview. But that's not stopping this jury from hearing her voice inside of the courtroom. Wednesday's testimony and evidence included FBI wiretap recordings on the Adelsons, and this was 2 years after Dan Markel's death. Here's Donna calling her son not too long after she was approached by an undercover agent who covertly claimed to know all about her murder-for-hire plot.
Who was the letter addressed to? You. That's crazy. Did it have a? Do you know who sent it to you?
I have a pretty good idea. But, you know, we'll talk and then we'll either.
Now, the agent admitting this evidence, Patrick Sanford, he is returning to the stand today with more for this jury to hear. At Donna's son Charlie's trial, Patrick Sanford was one of the last witnesses in the state's case. But Donna's case comes with a lot more potential evidence of what she's done in the last 3 years, including that one-way flight to Vietnam and the alleged bribing of inmates that she's housed with behind bars. We will see what all comes out. There could be a lot more ahead in this case, Julie.
Our thanks to Julia Janae for that early update. So when do you think we're going to see Charlie testify? Could it be today? Let's bring in our power panel and ask them. Here with me this morning, the host of the podcast Pretty Lies and Alibis, Gigi McKelvey, is with us, and our attorney, legal expert guests who join us every Thursday morning, Michael J. Brown and John Phillips. Good morning to you all. All right, ladies first. Gigi, what do you think? When are we going to see Charlie?
I think he's going to be one of their very last witnesses because they're so intertwined together and everything went through Charlie and Donna. He has a lot to offer. And here's my question, Julie. We know he's trying to get an appeal, and the chance of that is like 0 to none. She threw him under the bus in her opening statements and still continues to do so. So if he's called to the stand, is he going to be mad enough to where he's like, you know what, I'm going to let it all hang out, or will he err on the side of caution? But I think he'll be one of the very last they call.
One of the last. Yeah, you know, and that really is a million-dollar question, Gigi. Is he going to help mom or hurt mom's case? I felt like he was such a mama's boy, you know, up until he was convicted. Now, I don't know, prison can change people, can't it, Michael J. Brown? What do you say?
Good morning, Julie. Good morning, everybody. I don't know necessarily if we're going to see him. I'm going to take that opposite approach. What is he going to add? I don't know. From the prosecution standpoint, Julie, you know, they already have before a jury the fact that he was convicted. So I don't know what he's going to add. Obviously, his story, and I think he would maintain his loyalty to his mother. I can't see that changing, where he would change his testimony and give it all up now. So his story, although I don't know how believable it was and wasn't brought by a jury in the first go-round, I don't think it's going to help the prosecution. And just the same, I don't even know if it would help the defense. So we may not even see him in this trial. And keep in mind, he still may have Fifth Amendment rights because of the pending appeal. So I don't know.
Yeah, you're raising really important points. Okay, John Phillips, break the power panel tie right now. What do you say, please?
Oh, no, I got to go a little bit with Michael. You know, the Fifth Amendment definitely goes through appeal. You know, that still is mama, right? And even though the attorneys are doing what the attorneys doing, reasonable doubt, right? Reasonable doubt is the magic phrase here that they're just trying to get through. I don't know if we see him. I hope we do. It'll be fantastic television. Get the popcorn ready, but I don't know.
Yeah, get the popcorn ready is right. Okay, so you seem to be leaning, on the side of you don't think we'll see, which fair point. You both are seasoned trial lawyers. Maybe the juice just isn't worth the squeeze. Maybe these prosecutors say, he's a liar. He lied once. He might lie again. Who knows? This prosecution has been anything but normal. Let me just say that. It's been probably one of the most unconventional prosecutions I've ever seen, going after the low-hanging fruit and just going right up the chain. So let's play a clip from when Charlie testified back in his trial. And he was talking about kind of being a mama's boy back then. Let's watch.
So I wanted my mom to know what happened, but I also didn't want her saying anything to anybody. So I told my mom, I said, listen, I'm going to tell you something, but I never want to talk about it again. I never want you to talk to me about it on the phone. Don't talk about it anywhere. And please, whatever you do not say anything to Dad. Do not say anything to Wendy. Do not try to make me go to the police, because I'm not going. You got to promise me all that, and then I'll tell you.
And what did you tell your mom?
I told her that the night of the 18th, I got extorted for $250,000.
Oh, he got extorted. My goodness. The extortion defense. Gigi McKelvey, I know you watched that trial, and we talked a lot about it when it was in progress. Tell me, as you look back on it, what are some of the things you're thinking about with the mom-son dynamic between Charlie and Mama Donna, as we're watching Mama Donna now here in the hot seat?
Yeah, I mean, from the beginning, it was just a very odd relationship, very intrusive on both ends. And just yesterday, by starting these wiretaps, what they're doing is they're showing this jury that those two were thick as thieves. They worked together, they went to each other, they talked about these things in code. So they really were establishing that Charlie and Donna were the Adelson end of the communications, and that Charlie was going to do her bidding. Now, yesterday it was about Wendy's relationships and also her work. So what they're telling the jury is Donna would get Charlie to do her bidding for her, and he would. So, yeah, it's a very strange relationship. Who knows where it's at now? But I'm interested to see, like we just talked about, does he take the stand?
Does he? Right. And let's talk about the idea, could he get anything from testifying? Michael J. Brown, let me go to you on this. Is it possible that at this stage in time, he can ask the state of Florida for something, some years off his sentence, something in exchange for being truthful and taking the stand?
I think he's soiled. I don't think he's going to get anything. And quite frankly, I don't think the prosecutor would give him anything in exchange for his testimony, Julie. When you come in and you testify and you give this whole story, and then now all of a sudden you're offered something in exchange for your testimony, and you change your story completely. From our standpoint, from the defense standpoint, that makes you a worthless witness, because the ammunition we have is tremendous. So I don't think, I mean, I'm just being candid.
No, I love it. I love how you put that. I think a lot of people think he's worthless.
Well, as a witness, not a human being. So it's just not. We'll have that on the next show.
Go ahead, Michael.
I just don't think. I don't think it's the prosecution gets anything out of his testimony, and wouldn't give anything in exchange, quite frankly, other than a round trip ticket from wherever he is.
Yeah. Okay. Let's dovetail off of what Michael just said. John Phillips, tell me, let's think about this, the long game. We know we've got another case we're going to see presented. The defense has indicated they're going to present for Mama Donna, call some witnesses. She may be one called. The defense attorney, it's out of his mouth, not mine. And he said her son Charlie, in so many words, will be called. So do you think one way or another he's going to be seen and be in front of this jury, maybe though in the defense case?
Maybe more so on the defense case, because again, this is a guy that didn't like this prosecution when he had to go through it, and now he's going to cooperate, and then still kind of have to give reasonable doubt and deal with his appeal. Like, it just, I mean, certainly you can subpoena him and bring him, but and he might even say some things, like his credibility is on the floor. And he might say some things on the stand that help his, that intentionally are designed to help his mom. It's just so tumultuous, and his credibility so shot. I understand him from the concept of throwing up some reasonable doubt, but, certainly not leading with him.
Yeah.
As a prosecutor.
I mean, this guy, he ruined his life, and he only has himself to blame. He was a successful dentist. He had, the world, at his fingertips, and then he ruined it by killing his former brother-in-law. We have to leave it there for now. We expect things to start back up at 8:45 a.m. Eastern. Gigi McKelvey, I have to let you go. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. Always enjoy having you.
Thanks, Julie.
Take care. And Michael and John are going to come with us. You do the same at home, please. Here's what's next on Opening Statements.
And if you wanted to scratch or cut her face with your right hand or your left hand, if you wanted to do it, you could have done it, correct? So
but
you're
I
not
didn't.
disabled.
But
right?
I didn't because I had a baby inside me.
How did she know?
Time out.
Tense moments in the LA courtroom as Cardi B testifies in her own defense. So what does the jury think of the famous rapper? Plus, could baby Emmanuel's murder have been avoided? We're spotlighting the criminal past of his dad.
Matriarch of the Adelson family gets arrested.
Donna Adelson is facing charges of murder, the death of her former son-in-law, Dan Markel.
Prosecutors say a bitter child custody battle was the motive for the murder-for-hire plot.
Now that Donna has turned into a defendant, what's next for the Adelson clan?
Now that the ship is really sinking fast, blood doesn't matter that much.
The Matriarch Mastermind Murder Trial. Live coverage today, only on Court TV.
There's the main scar here, and this entire area here shows differences in the skins.
She was like, you fat ass, so I'm gonna beat your ass. I'm gonna get you fired.
Did the defendant use her fingernails to cut your face?
She did.
I personally feel like if there's no physical touch, there is no incident. There was a verbal altercation. If you think that that's an incident, a verbal altercation, then it's an incident for you.
That was just a little sampling of the testimony that's come in during Cardi B's civil assault case. But the Grammy Award-winning rapper was back on the stand for a second day, finishing up her testimony on Wednesday and rocking another beautiful look, while also making another viral moment on the stand when she was being questioned by the plaintiff's attorney. The rapper reenacted what the former security guard who's suing her, Imani Ellis, said to her during the alleged altercation.
She was cursing at me, though.
What were the words that she used?
You're gonna get the out of my building. You're gonna get the out of my building. I can do whatever I want. And then it's like, when I was telling her, it's like, why you was crying? She said, it's my phone. It's my phone. You're in my building. That's what she was telling me. And she was like, she also was saying, like, I don't give a who you are. I don't give a who you are.
All of the evidence is in, and soon the jury will be hearing the closing arguments and make their decision. So what do you think the jury's perceptions are of Cardi B after her second day on the stand? Let's bring back in our legal eagles, Michael J. Brown and John Phillips, and welcome in entertainment commentator Holland Reed. Oh, I'm sorry. I have John and Holland for this segment. Forgive me. Michael's taking a little break here. All right. So here we go. Holland, tell me your thoughts on how Cardi did and how you think the jury may be perceiving her after 2 days up there on the stand.
Julie, I have never been more excited to talk about something because Cardi B brought Cardi B into the courtroom. She commanded the room. She was true to herself. She was authentic. She disarmed an environment that usually could be intimidating for a celebrity, but she made it her own. It was her stage. It was her performance. She had everyone laughing. She had the judge laughing. She did not mince words. If there was a person that could personify, I said what I said, it was Cardi B in this courtroom. She did not back down. She did not play small. She stood on her business, and this is why I love her. And Julie, you know I'm a fan of no filter, no nonsense. Say what you say, and mean it and stand on it. And that's what she did. She brought the wigs, the outfit changes, the $7,000 couture vibe. I mean, she was Cardi B through and through. And I think, well, why we don't know what the jury was was, reacting to, but it was obvious what the audience and the entire room was reacting to. And that was Cardi B bringing Cardi B to the table and not backing down for 1 second.
Holland, I'm with you. I was here for it. She held her own, and she was so authentic as she did it. You're right. John Phillips, what were your impressions of Cardi B, and what kind of impression do you think was made on the jurors?
So first of all, Michael J. Brown and I had a rap battle to determine who got this segment, and I won. So here we are. I've represented Terrell Owens, Omarosa versus Trump, Steve-O on both sides, Joe Exotic, Naked Cowboy. I love a good personality, and Cardi B has done that. I might have told her to trim her nails down for testimony, but other than that, she's done great. Facing this $24 million, plastic surgery by somebody that initiated the confrontation, to somebody just, a celebrity just trying to get to their OBGYN appointment. I've done personal injury for 25 years. This is a case I wouldn't have touched with a courtroom, wouldn't have touched answering the phone on, and I hope the jury sees through it.
Right. John, are you surprised it went to trial?
These cases, when you've got a he said, she said, they can make it to trial. You would think that insurance carriers or her defense attorneys would have offered something, but when you're looking at a price tag of $24 million and somebody that wants exposure and attention, it happens. The bigger you are, the more they come.
Sure. Yeah, I'm surprised somewhere along the line a judge didn't kick it. I can see why she went to trial. I can see why Cardi B went to trial, especially after I can't see any injury on the plaintiff's face. I feel like you need a magnifying glass to see this faint scratch that she got assessed 4 years later. Right, the photo we're looking at is 4 years later. Yes, so was it really from her? We all, can get scratches. I have another clip for you both. This was one of my personal favorite moments, her on the stand. And I tell you what, she owned that plaintiff's lawyer.
Do you remember what you posted?
I don't think I posted something. I'm not even sure if it was a comment or like if I did like a live or something. It had to be quick. I was like, that's a lie. Out of here, trying to get some money.
What was that?
I said, that's a lie. Out of here, just trying to get some money.
Who's trying to get some money?
She is.
How do you know that?
Because she sued me for $24 million.
That was my favorite moment. Holland Reed, how about you?
That was definitely one of my favorite moments. The other one was when she was defending herself by she was 3 months pregnant when this happened, almost 4 months pregnant, seeing her OBGYN. And she said, I couldn't defend myself if I wanted to. And the attorney looked at her, and I think I'm paraphrasing here, said, how did you know she's bigger than you? And she said, look, and she said, how do you know? She said, with my eyeballs. And so I'm sorry, my New Jersey's coming out, Julie, because
I love it.
That is the fierceness of her. And it matches with her authenticity, and also she's not mincing words. She's not trying to play like this nice girl. She did not bring herself down to some ho-hum witness. She's like, no, this is what happened. This is what it was. So there's so many memes going out there, Julie, and this is just, one of my favorite court cases to watch by far this year.
Yeah, I'm with you, my friend. I'm with you. And you know what? Thank goodness, this isn't serious. I think that's the best part about it. Kind of reminds me, of like when we had Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, and thank goodness everybody's here, everybody's alive and well, and because you guys know, we see, in the true crime cases, this is rough. This is fingernail gate is what this is. Let's take a look at some testimony from a few other eyewitnesses. We've got the office receptionist and the doctor who was seeing Cardi B that day when she was pregnant, as Holland noted, at that office building. And the receptionist revealed something interesting about her getting scratched, but not by Cardi B. Let's watch.
It definitely didn't come from me.
Okay, so that's out. You got two more.
And
Ellis and Cardi B. Or
Cardi
your own?
Was behind me. So the only assumption that I had was it was from Miss Ellis because she was facing me.
Did you at any point use your hands to separate the two of them, Imani Ellis and Cardi B?
No.
Did you see Cardi B hit plaintiff?
No.
Did you see Cardi B scratch or cut plaintiff with her fingernails?
No.
Did you see Cardi B threaten to get plaintiff fired?
No.
Did you hear Cardi B call plaintiff the N-word? And by that I mean the whole.
No.
Did you hear Cardi B call plaintiff fat or poor?
No.
Okay, so some helpful witnesses here. John Phillips, I'm surprised we didn't have a directed verdict for the defense. What do you say?
You're definitely stacking it up here, and I don't know what the plaintiff's lawyer thought would happen. You have depositions, although California limits depositions a lot. But, you've got discovery. These, of course, are her treating physicians and staff. They intervened. Meanwhile, you've got somebody that was recording a celebrity and kind of an aggressor, and Cardi B has a right to defend herself and others being the baby that's inside her. And so, yeah, I mean, you do reach a level of directed verdict, and we would have countersued on this one for defamation. It's shocking.
Oh, that's an important point, John. I wonder if she is. We're going to have to look into that. And maybe she might. Maybe after this is said and done, maybe that's what comes next. Or maybe she just puts it behind her. John Phillips will take your case, Cardi. I know. You're so funny, John. Holland, I want to ask you, please, in terms of a believability, some good witnesses we saw in that little montage. Who would you say, if you have to pick the most believable and the least believable of the whole bunch, this whole case so far, who would you say, please?
I'm Team Cardi B without a shadow of a doubt. There's no there. It's just too much. This is unnecessary. It shouldn't have gone this far. This is absolutely a money grab. Cardi B is going to walk away, and I absolutely agree that there should be a countersuit, because this is ridiculous. And she was protecting herself, her baby, in a private setting, and that person is trying to get a quick cash situation. So no, Cardi B all the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's a perfect note to end on, Holland, what you just shared. It was a private situation. I think at the heart of this, that's what's getting lost, that she was going to a doctor's appointment. Someone who's supposed to be professional is supposedly filming her and following her. She deserves all the privacy protections that anybody else does. It doesn't matter how many records she sells and how much money she has. I mean, she's a human being. Leave her alone. And so, yeah, I feel like that was a moment, I think, for me when she was talking about that and being pregnant, feeling vulnerable. Yeah, I would.
And she said that, and she used colorful language when she said it, but she said that on the stand. That was another viral moment. She used the V word, and she said she did not want anyone knowing that she was going to a V doctor, and that's, yes.
Yeah, you're right, Holland, that was. I know, we need to look back, do a montage of all the great moments. Holland Reed, we love having you on the show. Thank you so much for your commentary. John Phillips is coming with us. You do the same at home, please. Here's what's next.
That decision was absolutely outrageous. Mr. Hauer should have been in prison at the time that this crime happened. And if that judge had done his job as he should have done, Emmanuel would be alive today.
An outrageous error in judgment. We're spotlighting the murder case of baby Emmanuel and how it could have been avoided. Plus, testimony resumes soon in the murder case of Mama Donna Adelson. Has the state done enough yet to convict the 75-year-old grandma? Welcome back. An outrageous error in judgment. The Riverside County District Attorney's not pulling any punches. Our spotlight this morning focuses on the horrific suffering of baby Emmanuel Harrow. We're learning that this precious child died from long-term abuse, allegedly at the hands of his parents, Jake and Rebecca Harrow, who were last week pleading for his safe return, now sitting in jail, charged with his murder.
Do you believe you know how baby Emmanuel died or was killed, and is there anything you can share?
The filing in this case reflects our belief that baby Emmanuel was abused, a victim of child abuse over time, and that eventually, because of that abuse, he succumbed to those injuries.
Prosecutors revealed that Jake Harrow had a prior conviction for felony child abuse. We told you about that. when we were covering this case from the start. And this was from his child, his baby girl, with his first wife, okay? And he hurt that child so badly, she had broken ribs, brain damage. She has been left paralyzed for the rest of her life. That beating was so bad. And guess what? The judge gave him probation rather than prison.
In this case, a judge here in Riverside County, happened to have been a visiting judge from San Bernardino County, gave Mr. Haro a suspended sentence, which means, if I can translate for you what that is, it means that instead of sending him to prison, he chose to give him probation. I will say that it was an outrageous error in judgment by this judge. And I don't have any problem saying that. I'm not attacking the judge personally. That decision was absolutely outrageous. Mr. Haro should have been in prison at the time that this crime happened. And if that judge had done his job as he should have done, Emmanuel would be alive today.
I agree with the DA. How about you? Let's talk about it. Let's bring in our legal analyst guests and see what they think. Still with me, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Michael J. Brown, and attorney and the former director of the Georgia Department of Family and Children's Services, Tom Rawlings. Good to see you both on this. Tom, let me start with you, please. Your thoughts on what the DA was just sharing about how this was preventable. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Julie, so I looked at the first child. This was not simply felony child abuse. There was a 10-week-old baby. That baby, when the child came to the hospital, had what we call shaken baby syndrome in lay terms. It's extreme injuries, broken ribs, fresh broken ribs, old broken ribs, a broken leg that had been twisted. This man, number one, should have been in prison for a long time. And number two, he had 2 children with Rebecca Haro, including Emmanuel, after this incident. He should never have been allowed to have custody of any child, much less Emmanuel.
I'm with you, Tom. And I also saw some local reporting that he also picked up a gun case while on probation. Because of his felony conviction, he's not allowed to have a firearm. That's against the law. He did that too. So arguably, at that point, when he picked up that case, he could have been revoked. His probation revoked and resentenced on the whole thing and gone to prison then. So it was like 2 times the system failed to protect these kids. Michael J. Brown, your thoughts on what the DA was saying, going so far as to call this an outrageous error in judgment by the court?
Julia, just from first blush, I completely agree. I just want to have one caveat, and here's the caveat. I wasn't there, so I don't know what the prosecutor in that particular case put on the record. And what I mean by that is, if the DA said at that time, hey, Judge, you know what? The agreed upon deal is he's going to plead guilty. It's up to the court's discretion. We don't have a great case. Maybe witnesses aren't available. The evidence isn't that great. That would completely change my opinion, because obviously you want to get an exchange of a plea of guilty, so at least you secure the conviction versus taking your chances at trial. On the other hand, if they had a significantly strong case, then I am completely on board in the sense that this judge dropped the ball. He has the ability to have discretion. He has the ability to use his discretion. And unfortunately, in this particular case, it would have been a horrible use of his discretion. This defendant should certainly have been sentenced to a lengthy period of incarceration.
This is really helpful, Michael. And I wish we had the answers to that. Perhaps we can go back and try to find some transcripts from that hearing and see what all was put on the record. We know that this DA made a point to tell everyone at the press conference that his office objected, that this was done over the objection of the DA's office. The judge still went ahead and did that. But to your point, which is a really good one, I don't know what else was put on the record, or if there were people, who knows? Rebecca Haro could have come in. You gentlemen both know what this is like in court. Oftentimes, the spouse of the defendant may come in, oh, I need him at home, and this, that, and the other, the kids. And so who knows what picture was presented for the court. But preventing this, it's mind-blowing. Tom Rawlings, back to you on prevention of child abuse, something you've done throughout your whole career. What else do you think can be done to never have another future case like this one?
Well, Julie, there's a couple things. Number one, there were family members, obviously. You know, everybody, even if we don't necessarily get along with our family members, I'm sure that there were family members around. There were neighbors around. There had to be people who saw something going on and, as best we can tell, did not report it to the police or to Child Protective Services until, of course, you know, Rebecca Haro comes up with a story that the child had been kidnapped. And then, of course, everybody goes looking for the baby. Secondly, you know, I really think we need to look at what Child Protective Services, either in Riverside County or San Bernardino County, depending on the situation, did or didn't do, both with the first case and with this follow-up case. There are a number of states where if you are found to have severely abused a baby, and then you have another child, you know, with yourself or with your spouse or with your partner in the hospital, they actually flag those cases and they go do an investigation. And so we have got to be doing a better job as Child Protective Services of following up on families that have abused children and then go on to have other children.
Yeah, well said, Tom. What about, you made me think of something, the counties talking to one another. Michael J. Brown, I'm sure you've run into this both as a prosecutor and defense attorney, when sometimes a defendant has multiple matters going on in different counties and things can kind of get lost in the shuffle, can't they?
Yeah, Julie, sometimes you don't have that coordinated effort between law enforcement, whether it's the police, whether it's the district attorney's office, whether it's CPS. And that really is where the system fails as well, because you need to coordinate your efforts. There needs to be communication. There needs to be this registry, which we have here in New York, so that everybody is aware of what was going on and what is going on, so that they can take the appropriate actions and make sure that these types of things are stopped, don't happen before you have this type of unfortunate fatality.
You're both making such great points. Pleased to have your insight on this, and we'll keep following this case as they continue trying to find the baby. The baby still hasn't been brought home. They're working on getting his remains to be, properly buried. Tom Rawlings, we have to let you go. Thank you so much for everything. Always great to have your insight. Michael J. Brown's coming with us. And my friends at home, as we head to break, we want to remember little baby Emmanuel. This little child was just 7 months old. 7 months. And law enforcement believes that he had been abused for many, many months of his short life on this earth. Hopefully he is with the angels now, resting in peace. We'll be right back.
Monday.
This case was unlike a normal murder case.
Before the new season of Victim to Verdict, catch up on every episode of Court TV's original true crime series.
Did she ever believe that she was ever going to get away with it?
Featuring the most compelling cases.
People are dug in on both sides.
With every twist and turn.
She killed my daughter, and he marries her.
Victim to Verdict with Ted Rollins. Marathon begins Monday morning, 9/8 Central.
Only on Court TV.
Welcome back. Court has just begun for the day in Tallahassee, Florida, in Mama Donna Adelson's trial. A witness who started his testimony on Wednesday is continuing today. Special Agent Patrick Sanford with the FBI, and we're about to hear some calls between Mama Donna and Charlie.
Agent Sanford, when we began your testimony yesterday, we talked about the wire, and one of the things we talked about was that Charlie and his mother, the defendant in this case, would get together to talk about certain things regarding Wendy. Do you remember that?
I do.
And one of the things that they would sometimes talk about was Wendy's career, right?
That's correct.
Okay, and I tried to play a call on that subject, but we had the wrong call attached, so I'm going to publish that at this time. Judge, this is on State's Exhibit 99, call 2873. If we could start at 7:08, please.
I don't know if I told you this. I got Wendy to accept that job with Walt.
Oh yeah, let's give jurors a chance to get settled. We'll start it over.
accept that job with Waltz.
With who?
She told me she was going to accept, like after I got
Going on with, with the judge. Other stuff from this firm. And what did you share on
So I don't know if I told you this. I got Wendy to accept that job with Waltz.
With who?
She told me she was going to accept, like after I got done down the walk with her, she said she was going to accept that job. She was thinking about not taking it.
I think this is not what she wants, but it's only about...
But I said, Wendy, first of all, there's no time frame on it. And if you change your mind, you change your mind. So, but you'll pick up skills you don't have.
Right.
And basically, now's not the time to just chill and become a guidance counselor in Miami. Like, you're way overqualified.
But she can't get hired anyway. There's like nothing there.
No, they offered her a job at UM. The dean called her up at UM.
Oh, she didn't tell me that.
Yeah, but it would have been basically like as a...
She's not qualified to be a guidance counselor.
Not a guidance counselor, an advisor or whatever it was. Like, she's like, no, it's basically it would have been brainless work for her. She said, the way she said it, she said even the dean called her up to ask her to take the job. But the thing is, I'm like, Wendy, you have to get as much skill as you can now. If this is a skill you just got done telling me you don't really know how to do, now's the time to go learn that skill, not later. Right. You need to learn it. So at least you can learn it and say you don't like it, you can learn it, you can make a bunch of money. That's the whole thing, is that she can, I'm like, Wendy, and then you might as well do it to see if you even like it. She's like, well, it's not really what I like. I'm like,
but she's never done it.
Right, but you've never done it. So you really don't know until it's like dentistry. Until you practice dentistry, you don't really know what it's like.
Exactly.
So I got her to do that. And then the other thing I was going to tell you is she asked me if Dave could come to the house for Mother's Day.
Oh, she asked you?
Yeah, if I would mind. And I said, of course I mind. Don't bring him. I told her, I said, yeah, bring him. She texted me the other day. And I said, yeah, bring him, the more the merrier.
Why not? It's fun.
Yeah, I don't care.
Listen, I wouldn't care if you take the kids and her and Dave out on the boat. Her and Ella.
Oh, yeah.
And I like the school. Just say, look,
But yeah, no, I told her, of course, bring him. I mean, I'm sure you'd rather him go spend the day with him than you anyway. That's the best Mother's Day present you could have given me. Could have spent the day with him.
When I'm actually I'm happy, as you know, I'm super happy.
Oh yeah, no, I thought that would that'd be your best Mother's Day present this year. When he wants to bring Dave.
Yeah.
Just developing the brain.
Just developing the brain, that's right. You know what? I have to walk away from things, and but he's not, and both boys are not very good at hugging and kissing. It always makes one feel bad. It's kind of their boys, they're just not. They're girls are more kissy. So I said to her, then I said, people who love you hug and kiss. I said, that's what Grandma and Grandpa always wanted to hug and kiss. And I said, I always did that with my mom and daddy, and I did that with my children, and I do that with my grandchildren. So he said, yeah, it's like baby and mommy. They're hugging and kissing all the time because they love each other. I said, yeah, I guess so. So, you could never hide anything in front of the children. Once they have a mouth, everybody else will tell you everything.
Yeah. No, that's great. Listen, Wendy just doesn't comprehend at all how lucky she is.